Hey, sorry it's been a while, but been pretty busy. Been keeping at it, keep working at it. I've down to 321 pounds after starting out at 375. So I've lost 54 pounds already. Feeling pretty good. My clothes fit again. Um, Going good with the new girlfriend, and it sort of brought up a question to me about if I should get remarried, if I should get married again. And I'm starting to lean towards no, I should not get married again. And I just, the more I think about it, the more I think, why would I want to go through that again? Because half of marriages end in divorce, first marriages end in divorce. 60% of marriages, of second marriages, end in divorce. 60%. That's a huge, huge no. Like a 2/3 failure is not worth the risk, in my opinion. I mean, look at cars, right? They do recalls on stuff that's like 0.05% of cars, blow up. They're going to do a recall. They're going to make sure they get it fixed, that they do it right. But if you get married a second time, it's a 60% failure rate. What the fuck are we doing? Why the fuck would I re-enter that sort of bad situation again? Obviously, I can look at my aunt and uncle. My aunt got remarried again. My uncle got remarried again. And both of them have had successful marriages. Both of them, I know my uncle's been married 21 years. I think my aunt's coming up on 17 this coming spring. So, they both have had successful second marriages so far. My uncle was married for 10 years, I believe, or 11 years. And he's now been married 21 years to his second wife, so that's pretty good. And my aunt was married for 20 years, I believe, the first marriage, and then this one here is 17, and they seem to be doing pretty good. I mean, obviously, as a third party who doesn't see them every day, I have no idea what's going on in their marriages. But again, I mean, it's nice to see somebody make it. But I don't know if I want to take that chance. I don't know if I want to take that risk again. Even if it's with the right person. I'm always happier just being in a relationship. The whole expectation of marriage is you suddenly now are married, you have to do all this other stuff because you're married. You have to change who you are to be married. And I don't want to do that. And I think that's my biggest problem, according to my ex-wife, was that I never changed. I was always the same guy I've always been. And it's like, well, yeah, I should be the same guy I've always been. And then another thing she said to me after the marriage was over, that I'm turning into my dad, and she didn't want to be married to a guy like that. And it's like, well, I thought that was very strange. Like, well, wait a minute now. You've known me and my dad for 13 years, or probably about 10 years before you suddenly decided you didn't want to be married anymore. I mean, generally parents kind of children emulate their parents a bit. Right? If your dad falls asleep on the chair every night watching TV, you probably end up doing that too, right? If your mom keeps the house impeccably clean, you'll probably do that too, right? Obviously, there's exceptions to all this stuff, but in general, that's how this stuff works, is you become your parents. Like, it's the whole, I don't know, the insurance company ad. Like, oh yeah, how do you prevent turning into your parents thing? And you can't. But in general, I don't want to risk getting married again. I don't want to go through a divorce again because it's pretty much the most painful thing I've ever been through. And maybe it's easier the second time around. You're older, you're wiser, whatever. But still, breakups are hard enough for me. Why would I go through a divorce? And a breakup, I can kind of just do. You don't have the government involved. That's another thing about marriage, is that marriage. They keep saying marriage is between two people, and that's not really true. It's between you, your spouse, and the government. Because we, for some reason in this society, decided that the government should be involved in marriage. I don't know who made that decision. I don't know why they made that decision, but it's stupid. Like, no, it's a private relationship. I should be able to get married and not have the government involved. I should be able to get divorced and not have the government involved. And Harry Brown, the Libertarian Party candidate from 25 years ago, said something like, the government is involved in so much in marriage that what was it? I don't even remember what it was now. But it's something like, if the government could decide who can get pregnant, you'd have men getting pregnant in 5 years. So, well, I guess that actually happened, didn't it? But anyways, kind of, well, if you actually believe they're men, which I don't. But that's a whole other fucking can of worms there. I just, after everything, you think you know a person too. You get married, you think you know a person. You think, okay, this is going to be a good relationship because we know each other, we love each other, blah, blah, blah. And then maybe you find out you don't know that person anymore. My ex-wife, at one point, after the marriage was over, after the divorce, almost a year afterwards, said, I kind of said, look, you treated me terribly. And she admitted to me she treated me like shit because she wanted me to cheat on her. That way she could divorce me and blame me for it all. I was just shocked by that admission. And I didn't ask her if that's what was going on. She just flat out said that to me. And I was just shocked by that. The fact that she has a boyfriend now really makes me worry about this guy. Like, wait, how do I know she won't do the same shit to this guy? How do I know? Like, yeah, I don't know. I'm a bit skeptical about, saying yes, we can spend our lives together. If women start doing that, I mean, obviously not all women are going to do that, but still, it's like, geez, if one woman can do that, any woman can do it. And I don't know. I don't like the idea of getting married again. I can have a relationship. I can cohabitate. That's fine. I can do that. I don't have any sort of, I'm not really a religious person anyway, so that doesn't bother me. But, and marriage wouldn't bother me if the government wasn't involved, right? I just don't want the government involved in my personal life again. And allowing the government to decide what is marriage, or decide that, oh yeah, we're married now, is a terrible idea. And I think we should just get the government out of marriage completely. Until that point, which I don't think will happen in my lifetime, I'm not going to risk getting married again because I don't want the government involved in that. Furthermore, I don't want some woman having that much control over my life again. Cohabitating means I can end that shit with a fucking phone call. Marriage means I have to go to the government, I have to go to a lawyer, I have to pay all this fucking money. Whereas if you just break up with somebody, it costs you nothing. So yeah, I think I would much rather just cohabitate and dump if necessary. Or she can dump me and it won't cost me an arm and a leg because we'll have our own separate property. And I can just move out. And to me, marriage is really supposed to be a lifetime commitment. It's supposed to be, better or worse till death do you part. And it feels like my ex-wife felt till death do us part, or 10 years until I'm bored with him, or I don't like him anymore, or whatever. Like, I don't think she took the death to his part remotely seriously at all. It was just something she said so that she could have a big party with a white dress on. And honestly, that kind of pisses me off still to this day that we went through all of that just so she could divorce me. Like, why get married to somebody if you're going to divorce them less than 10 years later? Just less than 9 years later. I don't know. I think it's just ridiculous. And obviously, I'm not the only one who feels that way. Her own mother felt that way. My sister felt that way. You know, my mom felt that way. Like, she's the one who was being ridiculous, not me. So, I don't know if I ever want to get married again. And honestly, if I can find a woman I can just live with and be happy with, I'm fine with that. But I'm not getting married again. At least right now. Obviously, I have a right to kind of change my opinion on that. And so we'll see what happens in the future. But for now, yeah, just that's all for now. See you later.